In this video, I'm going to be talking about the second day, day 2 of mental wellness strategies that you can use in your life as a man every single day. What's up, y'all? Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's Coach Jay. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment as well if this was of value to you. So today we're talking about day 2. And specifically today, we're going to talk about setting boundaries and why that is important for you as a man. Very, 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 very important to set boundaries. And the thing about us as men is that sometimes we feel that we're obligated to do things. We're obligated to provide. We're obligated to support someone. We're obligated to put everyone else above our own needs. Now, let me make sure I'm very clear. You're a husband, you have a family to provide for, and things like that. Maybe that's more true in certain circumstances than others. However, setting boundaries is going to be important regardless of what your situation is, because at the end of the day, you have to put yourself first. Let me tell you why. If you don't put yourself first, then how in the hell are you going to provide and support anybody else? This is more so from a family perspective. If you are going to work every day, you're tired, you are emotionally frustrated or angry or whatever it may be. A lot of these gurus out here might tell you, like, shrug that shit off. Don't worry about it. If you a man, be a man, shrug it off, whatever. Now, I hear that, right? I hear that. And we all hear it. But I'm here to tell you also that I personally believe that it is very important to take care of yourself. Now, full transparency, I'm not a dad as of now. I'm not a husband as of now. However, I do have people in my life that depend on me and want me to provide and do things for them. But I set the boundary when I need to, or in different situations. So it could be an emotional boundary. There's different types of boundaries. There are work boundaries, there's financial boundaries, there are emotional boundaries, there's sexual boundaries. There's a lot of things that you can put boundaries around. So one of the number one things that I want you to recognize about setting boundaries is the communication aspect of it. It doesn't have to be super serious. It doesn't have to be a sit-down meeting where your arms are folded and you're like, oh, let's talk about my boundaries today. Let's talk about what I need from you. Let's talk about why this is not going. Yeah, it doesn't have to be that. It could be as simple as, hey man, I'm not rocking with that. I'm not going to do that. This is as far as I go. This is where the line is drawn. This is how you understand and you know. This is where you let people know how far they can go. So, perfect example. This is more so a funny example to me, but it's an emotional boundary. So for me, right? So I went on a cruise ship with my family last year. And if you ever been on a cruise ship, then you know that typically one night out of the week, your whole entire family, y'all dress up, y'all wear a certain color. Y'all take the picture, y'all take the family picture, the couple's picture, whatever it may be. Specifically, I went with my family, and we all wore blue that night. And what happened was, I guess it was a long day. It came down to taking the pictures, and I didn't make the pictures because I was asleep. One of my cousins, he came by and knocked on the door, tried to bang on the door, wake me up. Didn't work. I heard him, but I was like, nah, fam, I'm asleep. You know what I'm saying? I had to get my sleep in. At that moment, I chose me. Prioritization. We're going to talk about that too. I chose me. It was selfish a little bit, but it's okay. Long story short, right? So eventually you have to see your family. You can't avoid your family. And I wasn't running from no smoke anyway. So long story short, right? The next day comes, the morning. Before the morning came, I actually got up that night because I slept the rest of the night. And then I was up the rest of the night. So I was kind of like off schedule a little bit. So I was up at like 3 or 4 in the morning while everybody was asleep. But anyways, the next morning came. And I already knew that it was going to be some shit. Like I knew I was going to hear from my auntie was there. My mom was there. My grandma was there. It was all women outside of me and my 2 little cousins. I'm the oldest man, right? And I woke up in the morning and I already knew, like, all right. So instead of me ducking smoke, I said, okay, this is a great time for me to set a boundary for my mental. Because yeah, I know I messed up, but who really wants to hear the rest of the time, oh, you messed up, you fucked up, you could have did this, you could have did, like, nobody wants to hear that shit, realistically. So before I left my room, I set it in my mind, like, all right, let me get right mentally, let me walk outside, let me be prepared for what is about to happen, what's about to transpire, what's about to go down. So the boundary that I set, the first person I saw was my mom. So my mom is very understanding, she's cool, like, she knows, you know, it's a cruise ship, things happen, it's not that serious. But my 2 aunties, they on that. You know what I'm saying? They was looking for smoke. So I told my mom, I said, look, Ma, like, I'm going to go ahead and set my boundary for the day. I'm going to give y'all 5 minutes to say whatever you got to say. you got 5 minutes to say. You got 5 minutes to say whatever you got to say, and after that, it's cut. I'm gonna say what I got to say, respectfully. You know what I'm saying? That's my word. Respectfully. So that's me setting the boundary. That's that emotional boundary. Because I know anything after like you just keep yelling, keep talking to me, and keep dwelling on. I'm gonna start to be like, all right, now I'm finna get hot. Now I'm finna be irritated. You got to know your triggers. That's going to be another lesson later on down the line. But you got to know your triggers. So once I saw my auntie and my two aunties, I kind of told them the same thing. Like, hey, auntie, before you say anything, I sincerely apologize. I am sorry. This won't happen again. We can still wear the blue. The blue's still fresh. Mine's still ready to go. It's, make a joke out of it. Mine's still ready to go. Mine's still crispy, fresh out the plastic, ready to go. I do want to apologize. I gave him hugs. I said, I know you got something to say. I know that it is important for you to say what's on your mind. So I'm going to give, you can do that. I want you had an opportunity to do that. But I'm going to tell you, like I told them, you got 5 minutes, respectfully. Like, go ahead and say what you got to say. But after this, I don't want to hear no more about it because let's still enjoy the trip. Let's still have a good time. Let's not dwell on about this. What am I saying all this for? I'm saying this to say that when you are able to set boundaries, and that's more so of an emotional boundary. And again, there are different types of boundaries. There are the physical boundary, there's the time boundary, there's a sexual boundary, there's emotional boundary. There's a lot of different boundaries that go on. When you set the boundary, then you're protecting yourself at the end of the day. Same thing for when you go to work, right? So another quick example of a work boundary or another emotional boundary. I'm big on emotional boundaries because I like to show when you think about it, you have to be able to, the way I look at it, you have to be ready to show up for people. If you're a man, you want to be able to put your best foot forward at all times, but the only way to really put your best foot forward is to be aware and also to set your boundaries and stand on them. So another boundary that I really take seriously is when I work. So if you don't know me by now, I work with men and also outside of that as well. I coach men in areas like this, mindset, confidence, and helping them be the best version of themselves. When I work with clients all day, sometimes I am drained. Honestly, right? Like I put my all into everything that I do. I put my all into my clients, helping them to be the best that they can be. So when I get off of work or when I get done working with my clients, sometimes during the day I'm drained. I might see a lot of people throughout the day. So one of the boundaries that I set with my partner is that I let her know that, hey, when I get off of work or when I'm done with my clients, just give me an hour. Just give me some time to relax. Let me get a time to work out. I've been boxing lately, so sometimes I might want to go to the gym and work out and get that cardio in and just punch the bag for a little while, jump rope, get that good energy going before I have any conversations about anything else. Because in full transparency, I used to get off of work and it was questions. Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you walk the dog? Can you do that? I'm like, it's just too much. And then, I won't say I will snap, but you can, for me, I've noticed that when I get off, if I didn't have that boundary set, when the boundary was not set, that's when I was not the best version of myself. So I had to recognize and realize that was something that needed to be said and done. When I get off of work, let me have an hour or two to myself to just decompress. Think about how the day went. Let me meditate. Let me go outside. Let me go to the gym so I can make sure that I'm the best version of myself. So I'm saying all of this to say that if you currently don't have boundaries in your life, if you have not communicated those boundaries with whoever it may be, family, friends, partner, whoever it is, you got to set those boundaries. And don't think about it as being selfish. Think about it as being selfless because really at the end of the day, you're prioritizing yourself. So ultimately, you can be the best version of yourself for other people. If you don't set the boundary, then likely somebody's going to cross it. And then you may have an emotional response that's not helpful for anybody. So the way that you can communicate your boundaries is by simply having a conversation. You got to sit people down sometimes. You have to let them know that, hey, this is a boundary of mine, and I would appreciate it if you respect this boundary. You can lay it out just flat like that, like, hey, when I get off of work, can I just have an hour or two to myself? Hey, can I have 30 minutes to just do this or that? Or hey, like I gave you the example earlier, like, hey, I'm gonna let you say what you gotta say, but after that, can we just go ahead and bury it? Because I don't want that to go any further. In another video I'm going to link here at a later date, another video that I'm going to link here, I'm going to talk about how you can identify what the triggers are for you, because that's going to be very important for you as a man as well. So 3 points I want you to walk away with: set the boundary, 2, communicate the boundary, and 3, I want you to stand on the boundary. very last point I haven't talked about. Standing on a boundary is going to be very important as well, because you have to know that people will try to cross your boundary, whether they know it or not. And if somebody tries to cross your boundary, you have to be the person that stands on it, letting them know, like, hey, I already told you respectfully, everybody got their own delivery. I'm a very direct person, but I would say I've already told you about my boundary, and I would appreciate if you respect that, respectfully. Just make sure that, when I get off work and I have an hour, can I have my 2 hours? Hey, I said 5 minutes, say what you got to say, and after that, it's dead. And you agree to that. So sometimes you got to reframe your expectation. Sometimes you got to let people know again and again and again and again that this is what my boundary is. But the second that you don't do that, that's when people will feel like they can just go back to the old you. So it doesn't matter who it is, family, friends, partner, whoever it may be, set your boundary. And that is the mental wellness tip of the day, number 2. So if this was some value to you, go ahead and like the video. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe. I'm dropping videos every single day in the month of May, giving you this game, giving you this mental wellness sauce. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, comment, and like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.